Droids have invaded Bikini Bottom. Even Patrick has been completely transformed. This is a 13-point plot, and the culprit you'll never guess. First at level FB-129, Lao Zhang accidentally arrived 2,000 years later. Everything here is made of steel. Even everyone has been replaced by robots. SpongeBob, is that you? SpongeBob, no, I am Sponge Crime. This isn't the first time we've seen it. A future full of robots. Back in time in Season 7, Little Sponge time traveled to another future, and everyone here has been completely replaced by robots. Even in the Insecure Guard episode, the mural on the wall confirms this view. SpongeBob went from a sponge to a robot. Although robots rule the world is a common description of the future, but robots don't just appear. So how did they come into being? Maybe you think of mountain whistles and old boy inventions, because they're all brilliant scientists. But why a hospital? An office building? So where do these robots come from? In SpongeBob's 7th season, trapped in a gloved world of tiny sponges and real, a surprising number of robot creatures have been found here. Patrick tries to break down the gate and rescue them, but he accidentally activated the switch, made all the robots go crazy. But it's above that switch. But it says control of the machine. That means the robot didn't malfunction. It's their program that's so violent. And in Season 11, the cleaning lady, Little Sponge, and the Pies are headed to an office building. They met a garbage robot. The robot attacked them without hesitation. It's obviously not a glitch, is it? He was just following his own system. But what is it about, making them so aggressive? Until I saw what happened in Season 11 to discover a vast hidden conspiracy. Fred breaks his legs all the time, so he often went to the hospital for treatment. And a robot comes along to solve all the puzzles. Don't take my leg, don't take my leg. In the 3rd season, old boy to steal Sia Bao's recipe, he used a robot to disguise himself. The two robots are strikingly similar, even the exact same height, although the facial details are inconsistent. Can't deny it, the appearance of the former is definitely based on the modification of the latter, so we can take a wild guess. After the old boy's robot failed to steal the recipe, to recover costs, he rebuilt the machine and sold it to the hospital. If you don't believe the speculation, so let's go back to our first set. A machine on the wall looks familiar to you. In the old boy's old invention, he actually created a sponge machine, hotel cleaning robot. A baby turns out to be a robot. It's kind of weird in SpongeBob SquarePants, but when we go back to Season 9, the baby had already appeared. Old Punk used the baby's disguise to steal the crab treasure. Even if we go back to Season 5, traces of the baby can still be seen. Why you're so tiny and helpless? I take your formula whenever I wanted to, and you couldn't do a thing about it. That's it finally. 3 will be mine. This is where the old man got his fix, using the innocent appearance of a baby to achieve his own. But there's another fish that's also suspicious. At the bottom of a sea where all the fish have arms and legs, and there was a primitive fish, and his image. It's actually very similar to the toy fish in the gift shop, so we have reason to believe he's a machine too. But the most crucial piece of evidence came from his voice. Kind of cruel, careless, evil person. I'll canvas all the serious low-brow guys in town. He sounded exactly like the old boy. Would that explain why old people don't work? But there's always been research and development funding. If you want to control the world, the first thing is definitely to control the media. So with the help of the media publicity, a toy called Spinner starts to catch fire. People voluntarily put the machine in their heads. Only an empty shell was left. This is surely the best chance for robots to replace them. I'll be forced to remove your brain and implant it in my robot chef. This sentence is also explained in the Patrick Star Show. Old scientist boy to create Frankenstein. It was transformed by the use of spirinol to attract lightning, and use this method. One of the protagonists has already been hit. As everyone knows, Patrick is in and out of consciousness, even when he thinks, and a lot of sparks and smoke. But on someone else, that never happened. So he was transformed at exactly the right time. After comparing all the scenarios, I found him pretty dumb before Season 3. The 4th season begins with occasional sagging, so I found this episode. Patrick was fitted with coral brain after he fell off the cliff. From then on his whole being began to become very clever. But what he saw inside his head was surprising. These gears are entirely derived from coral brain. But what coral is it? So much like his skull. And wait until the little sponge changes it for him, right behind your own skull. Pie Big Star also restored the appearance of stupid. But is this brain really the right one? when Patrick needs to think ha. This is the exact same gear as the coral brain. That is to say, Patrick has a different coral brain, just not as effective as the first one. More direct evidence of this is in this season. Hard thinking Patrick. A spring fell out of my head, and in the original position, it also left an obvious opening, if you still don't want to believe it. So take a look at this. Danks, I wanted to go backstage for an autograph. Plankton was here, yes, he certainly was.